What if the voice inside you that always wants more success, more love, more pleasure, isn't a flaw in your character, but a chemical written into your brain? What if the restless hunger that drives human ambition and destroys human happiness is controlled by a single molecule? This is the question at the heart of a book that might change the way you understand every decision you've ever made. Taming the Molecule of More is written by Michael E. Long, drawing on cutting-edge neuroscience to explore how dopamine, the brain's so-called reward chemical, shapes nearly everything about who we are. What makes this book remarkable is its argument that dopamine doesn't create pleasure. It creates the anticipation of pleasure, a distinction with profound consequences. Published for a general audience hungry for self-understanding, it bridges laboratory science and lived human experience in a way few books dare to attempt. The first great idea of this book is the distinction between two fundamentally different brain systems: the dopamine system that reaches into the future, and the here and now chemicals that let us experience the present. Dopamine is not about enjoying what you have. It is about pursuing what you don't have yet, always scanning the horizon for something better, something more. This means that the very system driving your greatest achievements is also the one making it hardest to feel satisfied with them. And that tension leads us directly to the second idea. The second theme explores how dopamine hijacks our relationships, our creativity, and our ambitions, making us fall in love with potential rather than people, with ideas rather than realities. Every creative spark, every entrepreneurial leap, every obsessive passion has dopamine's fingerprints on it, and the book reveals how our culture has built entire systems, social media, advertising, modern romance, to exploit this relentless forward pull. Understanding this isn't cause for despair, but for a kind of liberating clarity, because once you see the mechanism, you begin to see the way out. And that way out is where the book's most powerful insight lives. The most profound theme in this book is the idea that taming dopamine, not eliminating it, but learning to balance it with presence, is the secret to a life that is both ambitious and deeply fulfilling. The book argues that the here and now chemicals, serotonin, oxytocin, endorphins, are not lesser than dopamine, but its necessary counterweight, the difference between a life spent chasing and a life spent living. This is the emotional core of the entire work. That meaning is not found at the finish line dopamine is always pointing toward, but in the texture of the journey itself. This book holds up a mirror and asks a quietly devastating question. How much of your life have you spent in the future that dopamine is always promising, rather than in the present that is actually yours? It suggests that the epidemic of restlessness, anxiety, and dissatisfaction in modern life is not a mystery, but a chemistry, and that understanding our biology is the first step toward choosing something different. Perhaps the deepest act of wisdom is learning when to let the molecule of more drive you forward and when to set it gently aside. If this exploration of dopamine and desire sparked something in you, I'd love to hear in the comments, where do you feel the pull of more most powerfully in your own life? If you want to go deeper into the neuroscience of human behavior, our breakdown of Robert Sapolsky's Behave might be the perfect next step. Subscribe so you don't miss it. And take a breath, because you're already exactly where you need to be.